Last season, the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, they got out to a pretty slow start. They started out 2-5, and then during the second half of the year, around the month of November and Thanksgiving, or on Thanksgiving, Jordan Love just flipped the switch, and he played like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He finished the second half of last year one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league with a 26-5 touchdown-interception ratio, and that includes what he did in the postseason. Upsetting Dallas, giving the 49ers a scare. If it wasn't for his late fourth quarter interception, the Packers would have been in the NFC Championship game playing against Detroit, and maybe they would have been in the Super Bowl. But despite the success that the Packers had late during the second half of last year, there's a good amount of people out there who are not sold that would tell you that Green Bay's 2023 campaign was fool's gold. Is Jordan Love as good as what people are hyping him up to be? He's widely considered to be a top 7, top 8, no worse than top 10 quarterback. He's eyeing a new contract extension that's going to make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the game. And the Packers are regarded by a lot of people in the media to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender in the NFC. But are we overrating Green Bay? Is the hype warranted? Is it real? Or is this just a team that was able to benefit off having a light schedule in the second half and it was a fluke? To be honest with you, I'll go the latter. I'll say that Green Bay is legit. You don't have a 26-5 touchdown ratio by fluke. And I watched a lot of Jordan Love last year. His first couple of games were really good. But then after his first 2 games, for a good month or two, he didn't look that good. He struggled in the fourth quarter. There was a couple of games that he lost due to bad decision-making late. But then around Thanksgiving, that's when he started to turn it on. And you wonder if he can sustain this level of play. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't. You got an offensive-minded coach. You got a good offensive line. And you got one of the best young groups of wide receivers in the NFL. If you were to rank your top 5 wide receiving cores, Green Bay will be up there. Do they have a star wide receiver? No, but they have a lot of good young ones. They got a lot of quality in that wide receiver room. The only thing that Green Bay has been missing is having a good defense. Joe Barry was one of the worst defensive coordinators in the league, and they replaced him with Jeff Hafley, who formerly was the head coach of Boston College. And I expect him to get that defense right. From a talent standpoint, Green Bay has one of the best defenses in the NFL, top to bottom. Great linebackers, good secondary, and a really good defensive line. All you need is the right coaching. If they would have had a good defensive coordinator last year, like a Brian Flores, I could have seen them making it to the Super Bowl. The only thing holding back Green Bay is defense, and I think they finally have found the answer to that. The NFC North is a dogfight. You got Detroit, you got the Chicago Bears that are going to be really good this year with Caleb Williams, and even Minnesota could surprise people. Kevin O'Connell is an offensive-minded coach. I trust him to be able to have success with either Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy, whoever he chooses to go with. But Detroit, their biggest threat is the Packers. And I'm not betting on Detroit making it back to the NFC Championship this year. My conference championship prediction for the NFC, way too early, is Green Bay versus the Los Angeles Rams. Two of the more younger teams in the league that have very good quarterbacks with very talented offensive-minded coaches. It's an offensive-dominated league. There's more reasons to be optimistic about Green Bay this year than it is to be low on them and view them as a fluke. Just because they started out 2-5, 3-6, doesn't mean anything. Because in the league that we play in right now, we already know it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. How many teams have got out to fast starts just to implode in the second half? I.e. the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were 8-1 last year, and then the second half of the season rolls around and they end up missing the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers, for them to gotten as hot as what they did last year and to carry that into the playoffs, beating the Dallas Cowboys to me stamp Jordan Love as legit. I get that the Dallas Cowboys are overrated and they disappoint every single year, but let's not act like Dan Quinn didn't have that defense playing at a high level. That defense has been the lead under him since he became defensive coordinator there. And we remember how porous those defenses were. And for Jordan Love to just rip apart that defense and outplay Dak Prescott was damn impressive. Really. I was nothing but impressed every time I watched Jordan Love play. The ability to get outside the pocket and make big throws off platform. And ironically, him getting outside the pocket and making those impressive off-platform throws is what cost Green Bay a spot in the NFC Championship. Even though he's been in the league for a while, that still technically was his rookie season, because that was his full-time year as a starting quarterback, and he produced at a high level the second half of the year. And with the Packers only getting better, bringing in Josh Jacobs to replace Aaron Jones, who should be an upgrade because Aaron Jones is like fragile luggage. You breathe on him, the dude gets injured. Josh Jacobs, when he's on the field, he's a top 5 running back. Your offensive line not only has a lot of talent, but it has a lot of good depth. So if one guy goes down, you'll have a backup that's good enough to still give you starting caliber play. Jeff Hafley has been the missing piece to the puzzle for the Green Bay Packers. Now with him, I think that it's only fair to expect this team to make it to the conference championship, and I think they got a good shot of being able to win the NFC North this year. The Detroit Lions, they're running it back. They are able to keep offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. But like Dan Campbell said, after they lost that NFC championship last year, there's no guarantee that they're going to make it back. It's tough to win in the NFL. It's tough to get to that spot. I see Jordan Love as a quarterback that right now he's in ascension mode. And when you have a quarterback that's in ascension mode, you're still trying to figure out just how good they are because they just do nothing but continue to get better. So I look at the Green Bay Packers as a team that is legit. I think they're good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. And I don't think that 2023 was a fluke season. You had a young quarterback that was up and down really early into that year. That's expected when you have a first-year starter at quarterback. There's going to be some growing pains. Even C.J. Stroud, as good as what he was, he had some struggles. He had growing pains also. That's part of having a first-year starter at QB. But once Jordan Love got hot and he got settled in late November, the Packers were one of the best teams in the NFL.